is up, everybody? Ben Gothard here, founder and CEO of Gothard Enterprises, author of CEO at 20, a little book for big dreams. And welcome to part 6 of the content creation series, How to Build a Content Empire. Dun dun dun. No, but on the real, you guys, welcome to the 6th video of the series. I hope this has been a very informative and helpful video for you. You can go check out all the other parts if you missed any down in the description below. I'm going to put all those links there. But this video is going to continue off the last one. The last one was interest-based targeting. Now we're going to talk more about persona-based targeting. They are very much useful, both of them, both interest-based targeting and persona-based targeting, because it helps you understand your target market better, which, as you know from previous videos and trainings, that it is very, very critical for you to understand who it is you are selling to, and therefore who it is you want to create content for, right? So this video is really going to break down persona-based targeting. Let's jump right in.
Alrighty, so in this video, we're going to be talking about persona-based targeting. Now, I want to do a deep dive into this subject, and I'm going to talk about what it is, why it's so effective, and how you can do it. But first, I want to be sure that we all understand the concept of a target audience, of a target market, of a specific niche. So let's jump right in and get to it. So a target audience, what is that? Well, a target audience or a target market or your niche market is the group of people who you, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a marketer, are trying to sell to. That is the group of people, your target market is the group of people who are most likely to receive value from your product or service. Now, if these people are receiving massive value, great. The more value you can provide to somebody, the more likely they're going to be your customers. And when you are assembling your target market, you want to find people who need your product or service the most. Now, why do I say that? Well, I say that because those who need what you have the most are probably the most likely people that are going to pay you money for it. That's how you stay in business. That's how you provide value to them. And that is just how it works. So target market is a group of people, your potential customers, who you sell to. Now, why is it important to understand what a target audience is and to have a target audience? Well, if you don't have people to sell to, then you don't have a business. If you don't have customers, you don't have a business. Every business needs money to survive because you have to pay taxes, you have to pay your people, you have to pay for bandwidth, you have to pay for equipment, land, something. If you don't have to pay for anything and you're not receiving any money and there's no flow of capital from one side of the equation to the other, then you have a hobby. You know, I like to play guitar, but I don't try to provide value to other people. It's more of a personal hobby, and money's not exchanged, and that's fine. But when it comes to business, you need to offer something that people are willing to pay for. So knowing your target audience and having a target audience is important because those are the people who are going to pay you for your product or service, and that means that you can continue offering your product or service to the target market because they're paying you. It's a very cyclical happening. Now, the beginning of the cycle is identifying your target market. And why it's so important to do this is, one, you can craft a message specifically for that market. Instead of trying to sell to everybody under any circumstance at any time in any place, you can add some context to your marketing message. Therefore, you can more specifically market to certain people. Therefore, you're going to be more effective. So, understanding your target market and having a well-defined target market is very important because you will be more effective in your marketing. You're going to have lower marketing costs, meaning it's going to cost less for more people to see your message, to buy your product. The conversion rate's better. So of those people who you get to see your product or service, or who you engage in a conversation about your product or service, they're more likely to purchase than a random person who you did not target. So knowing your target market allows you to define and then reach out to specific people who are most likely going to purchase your product. So your costs are lower, your conversion rate is higher, meaning out of every 100 people, instead of 1 or 0 people buying, you might have 4 or 5 people buying. Well, on a large scale, that's very significant. And it's important to optimize your conversion rate as much as possible, to increase your conversion rate as much as possible. So marketing to the right people is the key to doing that, and knowing your target audience is the key to marketing to the right people. So target audience is the group of people to whom you are selling. It is important because it gives you direction with your marketing. It gives you a target for your marketing. Instead of trying to just shoot a bow and arrow randomly in a 360 direction, you're shooting it at a target. And so you're going to be a lot more accurate because you actually have something to hit. You're not just shooting at nothing. So then there are 2 ways to, well, there's more than 2 ways, but the 2 ways that I want to talk about defining that target audience is via interest or persona-based targeting. Now, I did a video on interest-based targeting, and I'll throw a link to that somewhere on the screen or down in the description. I'll make it clear for you. But this video, I really want to dive deep into persona-based targeting. So let's jump right into it. What is persona-based targeting? Well, persona-based targeting is taking your ideal customer, or whatever your idea of an ideal customer is, and giving that set of information, the set of qualities that describe, the set of data that describes that individual to whom you are sending your message. It allows you to craft that into a persona and market to one type of person. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you are a college resume writer. You help college students write resumes for when they're trying to enter the workforce. Now, as much as I believe in entrepreneurship, and I think everybody should at least try to start their own business, I recognize that a lot of people, most people, are probably not going to. So most people need resumes. And a particular business model is writing those resumes for those individuals. So if your business is to sell to college students, that is a persona, a college student. Okay, but let's get more in depth. Let's actually build a persona. Let's say that you are selling to college students in your area. Okay, let's say you live in Baton Rouge, for example, and you want to sell to LSU students, Louisiana State University. Go Tigers. And your ideal customer is a senior who's graduating LSU. Okay, so now we've gone from a college student to an LSU student who is a senior. Okay, that is a more specific persona. Now you have a more in-depth idea of who your exact ideal customer is. Okay, but let's get more specific. Let's say that your niche, your specialty, is helping business students connect and helping business students connect with employers through writing their resume. So now you are helping college students who go to LSU, who are seniors in the business school. Okay, that is a lot more specific than college students. Okay, so now let's add a little bit more specificity. Let's say that you are extremely niche down and you help kids who are in the business college, but specifically accountants. So now instead of targeting college students, you're targeting college students who go to LSU, who are seniors, who are in the business college, and specifically are accounting majors. And that is a lot more specific of an audience than college students. So you can keep going further, and when you're applying these principles to your business, I challenge you to go as in-depth as possible, because the more you understand your target market, and the more you understand about the concept of persona-based targeting, the better your results are going to be. And so when you can get in depth to say, okay, an actual persona. So my ideal customer, my target customer is a gentleman who is going to LSU and is a senior graduating next semester. He's in the business college, he's an accounting major, and he may or may not have had an internship, but he likes accounting and he wants to work with one of the big four accounting firms. Okay, that's really specific. Now when you're crafting your marketing message, you can craft it to that very specific persona. And you can basically be having a conversation with a fictional character, a fictional persona, and it's a lot more realistic because you're talking to somebody, or at least somebody who's a figment of your imagination, but it's a persona. This is a person. You're now talking to people instead of marketing to customers. And when you're having a conversation about how you can help somebody achieve their goals, you are going to be a lot more effective in your marketing. Okay, so what is persona-based targeting? At its core, persona-based targeting is crafting a target market, an ideal audience, based on demographics and psychographics. Okay, what are those? Demographics are characteristics, but it's basically data on your target market. Data that includes the location, the age, gender, the socioeconomic status, all the things that can quantitatively be measured by data. That is going to be a demographic. And I'm going to show you in a little bit exactly what I mean by demographics. Now, there are also psychographics, and that's more behavioral. So, is this person a big spender? Does this person like going out on Friday nights to see a movie? And the difference between demographics and psychographics are demographics are characterizing people by data, and psychographics are characterizing people by behavior. And so the two come together to form or help you form a persona, which you can then use to build a very customized marketing message. And it allows you to have a conversation, a very direct conversation with a very real type of person. And that is a lot more effective marketing because, again, people are buying your services. People are buying your products. People are your customers. And yes, you may sell to businesses, but people are the ones making the decisions on the top of businesses. And so when you're targeting based on personas, meaning you're targeting based on demographics and psychographics, you're targeting more based on statistics and a little bit based on the behavior. So it's demographics and psychographics. It's information about that quantitatively describes this individual and its behavioral characteristics. And so persona-based targeting is a very new phenomenon, because before social media and before the internet started collecting, or people or algorithms on the internet started collecting tons of data, when you marketed to people, you were very hit and miss with it. Because let's say you put a billboard up on the interstate. Well, there are tons and tons of different kinds of people who are going to see that billboard. And if you're just going for geographical reach, or geo-targeting, if you will, then that sort of marketing is going to reach a lot of people in a specific area, but you don't know if those people are passing through. You don't know if those people are even seeing it. You can't measure the reach. You have no way of really defining your ROI. And so when persona-based targeting and the whole internet revolution came about, it allows us as marketers, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, to be a lot more precise with our targeting. And persona-based targeting, again, is a new phenomenon. And when you are targeting people based on their demo and psychographics, you are being very, very precise. I mean, you can say that you want to hit people you want to target people who are between $40,000 and $50,000 a year in a very specific location, who likes to spend money on the internet. That can be your target market. That is a persona, okay? And there are varying levels of specificity with your persona-based targeting, as we did the exercise before of going from a college student to a gentleman who is going to LSU in the business college, who's an accounting major, senior, looking for a job with a Big Four company, who may or may not have had an internship. That's a lot more specific, right? So you see how you're using characteristics such as behavior to determine, okay, this individual has a propensity to work for one of the Big Four accounting firms. His behavior suggests that he wants to work for one of the Big Four accounting firms. And his demographics are saying that he is a senior. He lives in a very specific area, location. Gives you his age. Allows you to target him based on his age, location. And so you see how persona-based targeting is a cross between statistics and behavior. So that is persona-based targeting. Now, I actually want to jump into Facebook and show you how very specific you can be. Okay, so let's look over here. And now we're on Facebook, and we are pretending to create an ad on Facebook for the sake of being able to show you an example of demographic and psychographic targeting. Okay, so let's browse over here in the detailed targeting section of the ad creation and ads manager on Facebook. So you can see there are demographics and there are behaviors. There are demographics and there are psychographics. Now, there are interests as well, but the previous video or one of my other videos actually goes deep into this one, so we're not going to touch on that today. And yes, interest can be part of persona-based targeting, but for the sake of this video, I want to stick with demographics and psychographics. So, what does Facebook say? What does Facebook say that demographics are? Well, they say that demographics allow you to reach people based on education, employment, household, and lifestyle details. So it's data. It's data. And behaviors allow you to reach people based on purchase behaviors or intents, device usage, and a lot more. Okay, so let's dive into exactly what that is. Okay, so demographics, you can see, contains information on education, financial information, generation, the home, life events, parents, politics, relationships, and work. Okay, let's actually dive deep into each one of these and see how in-depth you can really get with Facebook's targeting or with demographic targeting. So you can tell what school, you can target people based on what school they went to, based on their field of study, their undergrad years. You can target people based on their level of education. And so if you were, let's go back to that example of a resume writer, you would probably target college grads, or, not college grads. You would want to target people who are in college, or people who've had some college, and you might pick schools that are around you. And that is so much more precise than targeting people based on any other metric. I mean, you can literally say, okay, I want to target people who are in college or who have had some college. That's exactly my target audience. And you can reach, just on Facebook, 18 million people in the United States. And so you can see how powerful this sort of targeting is. Okay? So that is how in-depth you can go with demographics as far as education and education level. But let's keep going, because I think it's important for you to be aware of the different possibilities that you have with targeting based on demographics. So you can target people based on income. Remember, I was saying a specific amount per year. I gave the example of 40 to 50,000. You can target people based on income. You can target people based on net worth. You can target people based on the amount of liquid assets that they have. And so you can get incredibly in-depth with these demographic targeting, with this demographic targeting. And you can see how effective this is, okay? So there's education, there's financial. You can target people based on the generation that they are. And it actually even describes these people for you. So you can target millennials, you can target Gen X, you can target baby boomers. You can truly target anybody that you want based on their demographics. So that's generation. You can target people based on different home demographics, like home ownership. Are you a first-time home buyer? Are you a homeowner? Are you a renter? Do you live in an apartment, condo, multifamily home, single home? Are you in a single-family dwelling? What is your home value? Is it between a certain metric? And what property size do you have? What's your square footage? What year was your home built? What's your household composition? And so by being able to target people based on all these demographics, you can get incredibly in depth with who you're putting in your target market. So, what kind of parents are you? Are you parents? Are you a mom? You can target soccer moms based on their demographic. And so I trust that you can see how powerful this is. So you can target people. You can target people based on their employer. You can target people based on their industry, their job type, their office type. And I trust that you see the power of demographics. Okay, so you've seen how in-depth that goes. Let's jump into behaviors, into psychographics. Look how many different categories they have within behaviors. You can target people based on whether they or not they have an anniversary coming up soon. You can target people on the type of vehicles that they buy or that they own. And you can target people based on the age of their vehicle. I mean, how could you possibly do that with a billboard or with a magazine? There's just no possible way, or at least not one that's as effective as this. You can target people based on the type of car that they own, on the auto parts, on whether or not they're likely to buy auto parts. And these behaviors can truly define people, and they do define people. So is your target market in a company size of 1,000 to 5,000 employees? Because if so, you can target them. You can target them based on that. You can target them based on industry. You can target them based on seniority. And so I trust that you can see how in depth Facebook goes with this. And there is almost no limit to the amount of information that is collected on people and the amount of information available to you as a marketer, business owner, or entrepreneur in order to reach your customers. If you need to find your customers, you can absolutely find your customers. There is data on them. There is information about them. You can find it. You can tap it. You can utilize it to your best abilities in order to find your customers. Okay, so that's just an example, and I just wanted to make you aware of different types of demographics, and I wanted you to see exactly what that looks like, and behaviors, these psychographics. I wanted you also to be exposed to that, because when you understand what these two things really are, and interests are important too, but again, check that other video. All three of these are extremely important ways to target people. And as a marketer, for you to understand these is imperative. It is not optional, because your competitors are absolutely using this information to target people. And your competitors are absolutely using every tool available to them. And this is a free tool. Facebook allows you to target people based on almost anything you want. So you could come do market research here. You can actually run advertisements. Now, Facebook will charge you to run the advertisements, but you have the ability to reach the people that you need to reach. It's up to you to determine which people that you want to reach, who it is that you want to reach. And so that is what a target market is. It is a defined group of people that you are trying to sell to based on certain criteria. Persona-based targeting is a very specific notion of an ideal customer. So a persona is, let's call him John. John, the LSU undergrad, accounting major, senior, who wants to work for one of the big four accounting firms and may or may not have had an internship. John is your persona, is your ideal customer persona. John is who you're targeting and talking to in all of your marketing messages. John is exclusively who you want to be reaching with your marketing. And so your target market is made up of a bunch of Johns. So sell to that target market. Okay, so we've talked about what is persona-based targeting. We've talked about what persona-based targeting is. But we have not yet talked about why persona-based targeting is so effective. And I trust that you can gather on your own why persona-based targeting would be so powerful. After seeing what just Facebook has to offer as far as different demographics and psychographics that you can target people based off of, you can gather why it is so effective. But I want to dive in even deeper. So the reason that it is so effective, and when you want to target people like John, you can absolutely target people like John, is because people and consumers and those who go on the internet, and even those who don't, but predominantly those who go on the internet, are being studied. And when you go on the internet, you are allowing those sites and apps and all these different things that you use, you're allowing the pieces of the internet that you interact with to gather data about you. And that data is then being turned around and either given to a bigger company who will market to you based on that data, or that company or business or app or whatever is keeping that data and they're marketing to you based on that data. Either they have their own data, or they're selling the data, or they're letting people advertise to you through their platform using that data. So they're selling temporary rights to utilize their data on you. And because you go on the internet and you surf, and not just you, I'm talking you as in everybody that goes on the internet, because everybody that goes on the internet allows these websites and the internet in general to collect data on us, them, because we allow these companies and these different tools gather data on us, these different internet entities gather data on us, we are essentially setting ourselves up to be marketed to. And there's nothing wrong with that, because we want to use the internet, and there are entities that are providing things on the internet for us to use, and we are using them, so they get to track that data. There's nothing wrong with it, but I just want you to be aware of why it's so effective. And it's so effective because it is real data. I mean, companies are using very real data to categorize people, consumers, customers, and target based on that and use that for marketing. And so if you go on, and I'll give you a perfect example of this. When you go on Amazon, if you shop on Amazon, you will have a wish list, you will have a recommended for you section, you will get emails about items that Amazon thinks you may want. And whenever you search for something, that search is customized to your browsing history. So when you go look at a specific item, let's say you look at socks, Amazon now knows that you looked at socks. And so the next time you come onto Amazon, they're probably going to offer you or put up or allow people to advertise to you based on the fact that you just looked up socks. Maybe more socks will pop up. Maybe shoes will pop up. There are any number of ways that Amazon can use that data and either market to you themselves or allow others to market to you on their platform. So why is persona-based targeting so effective? Because the information that is building these personas is so accurate. It is very, very, very precise. The predictive power of this data is so precise that there's actually a story that I'm going to tell you of how it was almost scary good, how predictive the data allowed a company to be. So Target has Target has a gargantuan amount of resources. Therefore, they're going to be collecting data on all their customers. They track buying habits. They track purchasing behavior. And when they send you a monthly newsletter or a weekly digest of sales or whatever they send you via email, they're going to recommend some different products to you. And a lot of the times, they're going to be offering you products that you are genuinely interested in. Well, this one girl had been shopping at Target, and based on the predictive analytics of Target's data and data mining and processing systems internally, Target sent coupons or some sort of discount or marketing material that predicted that this girl was pregnant. And guess who saw that marketing material first? It was her parents. And this poor girl did not even get a chance to tell her parents yet that she was in fact pregnant. But Target had predicted that based on her buying behavior, based on her purchasing behavior, based on her customer history. So they guessed that she was pregnant before she could even tell her own parents. And so you can see how there's a very fine line between effective marketing and a violation of privacy. And we're dancing on that line as a very internet-heavy society now. What this means, and what I'm trying to tell you, the point I'm trying to make is that persona-based targeting is extremely effective. I mean, if it can predict that an individual is going to get pregnant before that individual has had a chance to find out for herself and tell everybody and tell the people that she wants to tell, that should be a flag to you, a red flag that says this method of marketing, of targeting, is extremely effective, because it is. The data is there. The predictive potential of analytics is there, of data analytics is there. So when you are choosing a form of targeting, or when you're choosing who you want to market to, it would very much be to your benefit to include persona-based targeting, because it is so incredibly effective. So why does knowing so much data about, knowing so many characteristics, qualities, information, data about your target market allow you to target so effectively? Well, when you know exactly what you're looking for, you can find it. So when you know exactly who you're marketing to, and you craft a message meant for that audience, and that audience genuinely needs your product, then you can find customers. So it allows you to hyper-target, to target more effectively than ever before. It gives you the benefit of lower marketing costs because you're able to hyper-target. Because instead of reaching out to 100 people and your product or service is only needed by 20 of them, you can reach out to 100 people who absolutely fit this very specific criteria that defines your target market, because you have created a persona of your ideal customer, and these 100 people fit your persona more closely than anybody else. So it allows you to lower marketing costs. It allows you to increase your conversion percentage. So out of those original 100, 20 were relevant, and of those 20, probably none of them bought. Well, when you have hyper-targeted, now 100 of them are relevant, and maybe 3 or 4 or 5 have bought. And so you can see how your marketing dollars are being stretched a lot more effectively. They're being used a lot more potently. And because of persona-based targeting, you are able to reach exactly the people who you need to be reaching. And so overall, you're just going to have better marketing. Okay, you're going to give your customers a better experience with your marketing, because you don't want to market to people who don't care. That's going to aggravate them. That's going to bother them. But if you can market to people who genuinely want what you have to offer, and you can provide them with a product or service and solve a need that they have, and they don't have to go out and find it, well, that's a really good experience for the customer. Let's say an individual runs out of, it might be a little facetious of an example, but let's say an individual runs out of toilet paper, and you just so happen to sell that, and you have targeted them because the last time they bought toilet paper was a month ago, and you saw they only bought 2 rolls. So now you're going to offer them a coupon for toilet paper. Well, if the first time this customer runs out of toilet paper, they see a coupon immediately for toilet paper, and especially the toilet paper that they just ran out of, chances are they're going to utilize that coupon very quickly, because individuals need that on a regular basis. So it gives the customer a better experience because, 1, they don't have to go find that coupon. 2, it reminds them that they need to go run that errand because it's pretty important. And 3, they didn't have to make any sort of decision about what sort of toilet paper they wanted and where they were going to go. Now they have a coupon, so they know exactly what they need to do, and they're getting a really good deal. So why is persona-based targeting effective? It allows you to hyper-target. You're targeting people based on data that is collected about on them, and you have lower costs. You have better conversion percentage. You are giving the customer a better experience, and overall, it is just better marketing. It is better, more precise marketing. Okay, so now you understand what a target market is, what persona-based targeting is, and why it is so effective. Now, the only thing left to do is to figure out how do you target based on personas. And so I want to give you a step-by-step process to figure out who you need to target. So let's head on over to Facebook, and we're going to close out this ad creation. Actually, we don't have to close it out. We can go up to Ads Manager, and we can go over to Audience Insights. And we want to target everybody on Facebook. And let's get rid of this one, notification. And so now we're going to target, we're going to go down to Advanced. We're going to target people based on some of these demographics. So let's say that we want to sell college prep books or let's say we want to sell grad school prep books to college students. Okay, now we're going to click on college, on education. Okay, and let's define our audience as the location as the United States, and let's keep the age from 18 to 24, because people enter college at different times, and we don't want to miss out on any specific individuals. Okay, so now we are going to see on Facebook the demographics of this market. Okay, 53% women, 48% men. We know that the selected audience, 11% of the selected audience has a lifestyle affinity for Summit Estates. So Summit Estates families are enjoying the good life. Luxury, travel, entertainment, and consumption of every kind are within easy reach. So now we know that. We know that the people in college between 18 and 24, 10% of them are upper middle class couples with school-aged children, homeowners, minivan drivers, and avid radio listeners. We know that top professionals have a college. Oh, so this is actually saying that these people have a college education between 18 and 24. Okay, so let's actually change that back to high school. And let's see the audience. So firmly established, okay, 18 to 24 with a high school education. 11% are firmly established. 7% live active, lavish lifestyles. 7% work and play. 6% persistent and productive. And this is just lifestyle. Okay, this is one example. We can see the relationship status of people within this target market. We can see the relationship status of people in this target market. 55% of these selected users are single. 30% are in a relationship. 5% are engaged. 10% are married. So now we know the relationship status. Obviously, we manipulated the variable of education level, so we know all of them are in high school. But let's see the job title. Let's see the selected audience. Okay, a lot of these people are in sales. A lot of these people are in food preparation and services. A lot of these people have administrative jobs, production, personal care, management, transportation, and moving. So you can see how we are defining our target market based on different demographics. We're trying to figure out who they are. Okay? We can see their location. We can see that most of the people who are between 18 and 24 and have a high school education, 10% of them live in New York, in the United States. 6% live in LA. 4% live in Houston, 4% in Chicago. So you can understand and build a persona. So you can say, okay, I want to target people who have active lifestyles, who live in New York, who use mobile only on an iPhone in a house that they own, and who spend primarily cash. Okay, that is so much more in depth of a persona than just saying 18 to 24-year-olds who have a high school education. So you can see how powerful this tool is, these audience insights are. And you can see their purchasing behavior. So spending compared to income, okay, there's a lot of high spenders. Some people, a medium amount of online purchases. The purchase behavior, most of what these people are buying are in the food and drink category. Subscriptions, health and beauty, clothing, household products, pet products, sports and outdoors, home and garden. So you wouldn't target people that are buying kids products because only 0.7% of this selected audience are buying kids products. And if they're in the market for a vehicle, you would be much more likely to sell them a crossover or a pickup truck than a minivan. And so based on the data, you can make incredibly informed decisions about how you market to them, about what you market to them, about who you're marketing to. And then you can even take it a step further. You can go see which pages these sorts of individuals like. So you know that for some reason, people aged 18 to 24 who have a high school education are very likely to like Sharpies. So you can sell them Sharpies. You know that these people are big fans of Skittles, Monster, Starburst, Gatorade, Wonka, Takis, 5 Gum. You know that they go to Spencer's, Foot Locker, and Champ Sports. You know that they like Nicki Minaj. You know that they like Cartoon Network or the Disney Channel or Hot Topic or Hollywood. All this information is readily available to you on Facebook. And it is available to you in other places. But think of how much market research you can do on your audience with the click of a few buttons on this tool using Audience Insights on Facebook Ad Manager. I mean, it is incredible how in-depth you can get. And you can assemble a list of these pages, and you can then target those pages. So let's say you want to sell college prep books to these people, because you assume they have a high school education, they're still relatively young. Chances are they may want to go to college. Okay, well then sell them books related to getting into college, or to writing college essays, or better yet, find what they're already purchasing and sell them that. You can use this in any way, shape, or form that you desire, but I want you to be aware of the power of this and how you can do it. So you can come in and you can define a market that you want to hit, and then you can understand every demographic through here. You can understand location, activity, household purchases. You can understand so much more about your target market using this tool. And by combining a ton of different characteristics, you are able to craft a persona to whom you can market. And we talked about why that's so effective, but again, you can hyper target. You'll have lower costs, you'll have better conversion rates, you can give these customers a better experience, a better marketing experience, a better customer experience. And so use these tools, use this information, apply all this to your own business, and you will find that your marketing will be a lot more successful.
Alrighty people, thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you have a much better grasp of persona-based targeting and how this concept and understanding these types of things can help your business get to the very next level, specifically through content creation, right? Because this whole series, How to Build a Content Empire, is giving you the tools that you need in order to build your own media empire. And that's awesome, right? Everybody would want to do that if they could, and now through this system they can. Okay, but if you want more step-by-step detailed instructions, right, this training course is very theoretical, right, and it gives you some actionable steps and it gives you a lot to think about. But in order to take the theory and turn that into very specific action, you need to take the next step, and the next step is this resource down below. Click that. It's called How to Build a Content Empire. It's the next level to this whole idea of using content to attract customers and to get them into your sphere of influence. Okay, so click below. That resource is for you, and it is brought to you by both myself and my partner on this venture, Dr. David Zemmels, who is a PhD. He knows what he's talking about. He's very smart. I have some experience, so that's why we're bringing you the series. Click below for the very next level. Thanks. Talk to you later. Bye.